Hello everyone. We are here to proceed for our next lecture, that is sexual reproduction in higher organisms. We have already completed part 1 of the chapter, that is asexual reproduction in plants as well as in animals. Now we are proceeding ahead towards sexual reproduction in higher organisms. So let's proceed. So sexual reproduction in higher organisms is also known as syngenesis or amphimixis, another terminology for this word. Okay. In sexual reproduction in higher organisms, what happens? There is a male gamete and the female gamete. We require two different gametes, male and female. They undergo fusion and they form zygote. After fusion, they form zygote, and the process of fusion is also known as syngamy. Syn means fusion and gamy means gametes. The fusion of two gametes, that is male and female. Zygote is formed. Zygote will multiply and it will develop into entire new organism. Okay, so there is a fusion of male gamete and female gamete. On fusion they will form zygote. Zygote will multiply and develop into new organisms. Let's study what are the advantages of sexual reproduction. As compared to asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction has advantages. Which are they? In sexual reproduction, there is involvement of genetic recombination in the species, which are caused by many variations. Means species are produced by genetic recombinations. Okay, it also helps in the process of evolution of new species. Why? Because there will be genetic variations. Male and female gamete on fusion, they will form zygote. So the zygote, there will be variations observed in the characteristics as compared to the parents. Okay, and many variations across generation might lead to evolution of new species. And next, sexual reproduction is shown by all multicellular organisms as well as flowering plants. Okay, so there are two major advantages of sexual reproduction. First is genetic recombination of species, and second is it helps in the process of evolution of new species. Okay, now life of organisms. There are different phases of life of organisms. First is juvenile phase in animals and vegetative phase in plant. Second phase is reproductive phase, and third phase is the senescent phase, or you can call it as the phase of aging. Okay, in juvenile phase for animals, vegetative phase is for plants. What is the definition of this phase? It is a period during which organisms grows to attain the sexual maturity. Okay, it is the period of growth of organism, whether it is plants or it is animals. If it is plant, we will call it as vegetative phase. If it is animal, we will call it as juvenile phase. Next phase is the reproductive phase. In reproductive phase, as per definition, it is a phase where organism will start to reproduce sexually. Okay, means the phase where it attains reproductive maturity. It is able to reproduce and give rise to fertile offsprings. That is which phase? Reproductive phase. So after juvenile or vegetative phase, second phase of life is reproductive phase, and the last phase of life is senescent phase. It is the later and the last phase of life cycle of organisms. Organism will die at the end of this stage. So there are three phases in the life of organisms: juvenile phase for animals, vegetative phase for plants, reproductive phase, and third phase is the senescent phase. Alright. All these phases are regulated by hormones as well as environmental factors. Now, sexual reproduction in plants, first of all we will study, and then we will study in animals. For plants, sexual reproduction in plants are bifurcated into three categories: annual and biennial. Next is perennial, and third one is unusual behavior of flowering. Annual and biennial plants means they show flowering once or twice in a year. All the phases are shown very clearly. That is vegetative, reproductive, and senescent. Perennial plants are those which flower throughout the lifetime. So phases are not defined clearly. Okay, they reproduce throughout the lifetime. They reproduce only once or twice during a year. Annual and biennial, once a year, twice a year. So all three phases can be clearly visible: vegetative, reproductive, and senescent. And in perennial, phases are not defined clearly. Okay, now unusual behavior of plant is very important for your competitive exams and MCQs. First example is Neela Kuranji. Its botanical name is Strobilanthes kunthiana. It flowers once in 12 years. Once in 12 years it flowers. Next is bamboo tree. It flowers only once in its lifetime. That is after 50 to 100 years of its growth. Only once in lifetime. 50 to 100 years of its year growth. The last phase of flowering of Strobilanthes kunthiana was observed in the year 2018. Prior to that, it was seen in 2006 in the month of September, October in the hilly areas in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. There are blue stretches and they attract large number of tourists. Blue stretches of flowers, okay, across the hilly areas of Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Bamboo tree flowers once in lifetime after 50 to 100 years. After flowering, they will bear fruits and then the bamboo tree dies. This is the speciality of bamboo tree. Okay. Next is sexuality in plants. Based on sexuality in plants, they are bifurcated into two categories: monoecious and dioecious. Monoecious plant is also called as homothallic plant, and dioecious plant is also known as heterothallic plant. Monoecious means what happens that male and female reproductive structures are present on the same plant. Homothallous. Homothallous means on same plant it will bear male flowers also, same plant it will bear the female flowers also. Means only one plant will bear both the flowers. You can call it as bisexual also. Okay. Male and female reproductive structures are present on the same plant. Example: chara, cucurbita and coconut. Whereas in dioecious plant or heterothallic plant, male and female reproductive structures are present on different plants. You have different plant that is a plant bearing male flower. It is different plant bearing. Example of dioecious plant or heterothallic plant is merchantia and date palm. You can also take it papaya as an example of it. See, in text we are having example of monoecious and dioecious plant. This is example of chara, that is monoecious plant, and this dioecious plant it is example is merchantia. Okay, in monoecious plant, see, male as well as male sex organ and female sex organ are on the same plant. Male sex organ is called antheridium. The word is derived from anther. You know na, anther we are bearing the pollen grains, right? It is a male sex organ. So antheridium and oogonium. Oogonia means eggs. Okay. So oogonium is the female sex organ. So male as well as female sex organ are present on the same plant. It is called monoecious. Dioecious plant means male and female are on different plants or different thallus. Female thallus bears archegoniophore and male thallus is called antheridiophore. Antheridiophore. Archegoniophore. Understood? Male, female on same plant, it is homothallous or monoecious. Male, female on different plant, it is dioecious. Clear? Now, sexuality in plants. In case of flowers may be unisexual, flowers may be bisexual. If flowers are unisexual, it will either bear stamen or pistil or carpel, we can call it. If flower bears only the stamen, that is a male reproductive part, it is called staminate flower. If a flower bears only pistil, then it is called pistillate flower. Example: papaya, watermelon or sunflower, watermelon, sunflower, rice and wheat. Okay. And examples of bisexual means both male and female gametes are present in the flower, that is both anther and stamen. Okay. Example is mustard, china rose and pea. So unisexual and bisexual. Unisexual flower bears either stamen or pistil. If it is bearing stamen, it is called staminate flower. If it is bearing pistil, it is called pistillate flower. Example: papaya, watermelon, rice, wheat, sunflower. Bisexual flower examples are mustard, china rose and pea. Both male and female gametes are present on the same flower. The next topic is sexual reproduction in animals. Based on the reproducing capacity, animals are bifurcated into continuous breeders, seasonal breeders and mammals. Continuous breeders means they are able to reproduce throughout their lifetime. They are called continuous breeders. Animals which remain reproductively active throughout their entire reproductive phase are called continuous breeders. Means throughout entire reproductive phase they are active. So they are called continuous breeders. Example: humans. Next is seasonal breeders. Animals which become reproductively active only during particular favorable season in the reproductive phase. Example: frogs, birds, lizards and dogs. Next is mammals. In mammals, what will happen? There will be certain morphological and physiological changes that will be taking place during the reproductive phase. There is development of ovaries, testes or hormones development. Mammals are bifurcated into two categories: primates and non-primates. Primates will show menstrual cycle and non-primates show estrous cycle. Menstrual cycle examples are monkeys, apes and humans, and estrous cycle animals which show estrous cycle are dogs, cows, rats, sheep, tigers and deer. Okay, so primates and non-primates. Primates show menstrual cycle, non-primates show which cycle? Estrous cycle. Examples of animals which come under the category of primates are monkeys, apes and humans, and non-primates are dogs, cows, rats, sheep, tigers and deer. Okay, and the last topic for today's lecture is sexuality in animals. Sexuality in animals, based on the sexual organs which are present in animals, they are bifurcated as unisexual and bisexual. Unisexual animals, both the sexes are separate, that is male and female body are different. Okay, they are different individuals. Example, cockroach, dog and humans. And bisexual animals are also called as hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodite means what? We have studied this in 11th standard, right? Chapter 7, earthworm is an hermaphrodite. Means in single body, male as well as female, both the organs are present. Okay, both male and female reproductive organs are present in the same individuals. Example, earthworm, sponges, tapeworm and leech. Alright, so that was all regarding sexuality in animals. So that was all regarding today's lecture. I hope you all have understood. We have covered the topics sexual reproduction in higher organisms, that is sexual reproduction in plants and sexual reproduction in animals. Okay, next lecture will be proceeding towards events in the sexual reproduction, that is pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization events, right? So today we have covered the second part of the chapter, that is sexual reproduction in higher organisms. All right, do like and subscribe and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.